A couple of weeks ago, we had an episode on the podcast about how to actualize your inspiration. Like, once you've gotten past the New Year's resolution, what's the secret to making sure that they come alive and they don't just go the way of most New Year's resolution and die? And we had a lot of great feedback on that episode. And one of the questions that came up again and again and again was, that's great, but how do I find the time to achieve all my goals? So that's what we're going to talk about in today's podcast, in today's episode. So there's two things to note. The first thing is, for all those people that ask, how do you find the time? You're 100% correct. For most of us, we can't do it all. There's too much that we want to achieve, and there's too much going on in our lives for us to be able to achieve it all. So we have to prioritize. But how do we prioritize? So there's a very, very powerful way that we prioritize, and that is looking at it backwards. We tend to look at our list of things to do and say, what do I want to do today? Or what do I need to do today? But when we set our goals and when we set our priorities, we need to look at it as, who do I want to be in a year from now? Who do I want to be in 10 years from now? Who do I want to be in 20 years from now? Who do I want to be in 30 years from now? How do I want to be remembered at the end of my life? It may sound a little bit severe, but it's actually a very, very powerful way of prioritizing. Because when we look at it and we sit down and we say to ourselves, how do I want to be remembered? It makes it very clear to us that we are here for a purpose. We're here to build something. And it helps us focus on which of those goals and which of those priorities that we're doing, which of those resolutions that we're giving priority in nowadays are helping us get to be the person that we want to be at the end of our life. It also helps us in another way, and we see it in this week's Torah portion. This week, Abraham was told to have a Brit Milah. And he has a Brit Milah, and he's sitting outside on the third day, and it's desperately hot, and we can imagine he's in a tremendous amount of pain. And he's sitting outside because he desperately, desperately wants to invite guests to his house. And even though it's hot, and even though he's in pain, as soon as he sees those three people, the three angels, he gets up and he's able to do it. How was he able to push through the pain and the discomfort to get to achieve what he wanted to do? It's because he was totally focused on his goal. He knew exactly that this is this is what I want to be. I want to be that person that opens my tent to all the guests. And he was able to push past the pain because of that. And it helps us understand the Talmud. The Talmud tells us that a person should accept the Torah like a donkey who doesn't feel the heat in the summer months. What on earth does it mean? It means that a donkey is totally focused on doing its work, right? It's totally focused on going and carrying whatever it has to carry, and it doesn't even feel the heat of the summer months. So too, when we get to a place where we are so focused on what our goal is, it helps us push past the pain, push past the discomfort, get up and go and do our goals. So two things. Number one is we have to be totally clear on what our goals are in this world. We have to be totally clear on who is it that I want to be. Where do I want to be in 10 years? Where do I want to be at the end of my life? What do I want to be remembered by? And we have to aim high. And then we have to have that vision so deeply clear within our minds that it helps us push past the discomfort. It helps us get up and go when we don't want to. It helps us push through whatever it is that's stopping us from achieving our goals. As always, I love to hear your feedback, your thoughts, your questions, your comments. If you want to hear the previous podcast that I mentioned earlier, you can find us on SoundCloud, Google. You can find us on Spotify. Again, a podcast by Gila. Wishing you all a good Shabbos.